Welcome back to the Hive, everybody. And today we're going to talk about what's going on in the beehive this week. We have a lot of stuff that's going on, and we're going to talk about it today. But first, we want to congratulate Brock Nickel and Luke Becker for their amazing Best Pairs back-to-back championship. They won the back-to-back championship just last night at the Paris Speedway in Paris, California. Congratulations. And to all the riders who raced in that Best Pairs Championship. They did great. We have really great riders here, and they're showcasing their talents. So we congratulate all the riders that raced at the Paris Speedway just yesterday or so, and they did really well. It was an amazing event. And we congratulate the winners and everybody that raced at the Paris Speedway. It was really, truly a great event. And we're going to have some really great riders on the show this week, and we're going to talk about it right now. We have this gentleman. Do you know Aaron Fox? Aaron Fox is a two-time United States Speedway champion. Aaron Fox was just a really great rider, and he was racing in that Best Pairs Championship, and he was doing pretty good. And he's just a really great rider. You have to be a good rider if you're a two-time United States Speedway champion. So Aaron Fox also, he raced in the British League, and he raced for the Monarchs, I believe it was, up in Scotland or something like that. And he was really a good rider. He was a British League rider, Aaron Fox. Just a really great rider. And Aaron is a really great guy. He's a soft-spoken guy, handsome guy, and just a good person. And he's a good rider. This guy knows how to get it sideways, Aaron Fox. He's a great rider, and we're looking forward to it. It's actually going to be tonight in the Hive. We have Aaron Fox coming up, so it's going to be 6 p.m. the California time. You won't want to miss it. Aaron Fox. He is truly a great rider, and we're looking forward to having him here in the Hive. And so that's going to happen tonight. And we're going to talk a little bit about when you win, nothing hurts. And when you lose, you die alone. Every Speedway rider has one purpose in mind, one thing they want to accomplish. And what is that? They want to win. The tapes go up. The clutch drops. You have to have split-second response time. Speedway riders are tough as nails. They endure terrible crashes. It's the go-for-it attitude. They go for it, and sometimes things don't work out. And the Speedway rider only has a few seconds to make the race good. He has to do everything with perfection. When you win, nothing hurts. But when you lose, you die alone. And every muscle must be torn. Yeah, who likes to lose? You die alone. I like that one. And the following night, it's going to be Tuesday night, we have Crazy Chris Ackerman. Crazy Chris is the announcer at the Paris Speedway. He is truly a really cool guy. Crazy Chris! Do you know Crazy Chris? He's the guy that likes to drink the Mr. Pibb. So if you have Mr. Pibb, you have Chris as your best friend. He's a really great guy, and he's a family man. He's got a beautiful wife and a beautiful family. Chris is just an amazing guy. And we're going to go ahead and have a tribute night to Bruce Flanders. We're going to have a Hawaiian t-shirt night for Mr. Bruce Flanders. He passed away this past year. Rest in peace, Bruce Flanders. We really miss Bruce Flanders, and he's just one of the amazing voices of Speedway. So Chris and I are going to have our Hawaiian t-shirt, our Hawaiian shirt night. Not t-shirt, just a Hawaiian shirt. And he's just a crazy guy. Here's Chris with one of his little Muppet dolls. He likes Muppets a lot. He's a crazy dude. And we're looking, every time I have an announcer on the show, they're really fun. I mean, these guys, I don't have to do any work. These announcers are really great. So Crazy Chris is going to get crazy in the beehive. He's a crazy dude. And Chris is a good guy. And so we're going to have lots of fun. We're going to talk Speedway. We're going to talk about how he got into announcing. And he's just a great announcer. And we're going to pay tribute to Chris and to Bruce Flanders. We really miss Bruce Flanders. And we're going to go ahead and have a Hawaiian shirt. So I'm going to wear my Hawaiian shirt for Bruce Flanders. And here's Chris. He does some baseball games over in the desert. So he's just really a good announcer. And he's a really crazy guy. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk Speedway. And what is Speedway? Do you know? Do you know what Speedway is? Greetings and welcome back. Today we're going to examine what it is to be a Speedway rider. So let's go ahead and talk about it right now. When I think about the word Speedway rider, the first thing that pops into my mind is, let's say, gladiator. A gladiator. Why is the Speedway rider a gladiator? Well, it's very rare. The Speedway riders are very rare. There's not that many of them. Another word that comes into my mind when I think about what is Speedway riders? What is a Speedway rider? I think of crazy. Because a Speedway rider has to have a little bit of craziness to be a Speedway rider. Think of it, you got like 4 or 5 riders that line up at the line and the tape goes up and the bikes go 0 to 85 in 2 seconds. In 2 seconds, you're like 85. And they're like rocket ships. And it's the first person to the turn usually wins the race. But 4 or 5 guys like crowding into the turn trying to get that first turn. That is crazy. And with no brakes, of course. Every Speedway rider has one purpose in mind, one thing they want to accomplish, and what is that? They want to win. Because when you win, nothing hurts. But when you lose, you to die alone. Some of my fellow Speedway riders, they used to go and ride for the popularity. They used to like to go and wave to the crowd and just be there. They really didn't want to win. They just wanted to enjoy the show. And then on the other hand, you have racers that all they want to do is win. And sometimes those racers get too crazy as far as they get too wound up if they don't win. I used to be like that. When I didn't win, I used to go home. I just packed my bags and went home. And the next week, the fans would say, hey, I was there to like get autographs from you and you were gone. And some racers just get too crazy. When they lose, they're so mad, they just go home and they like deal with it. Speedway riders are tough as nails. They endure terrible crashes. They have the most horrible crashes probably in the world. Because it's the go for it attitude. They go for it and sometimes things don't work out. It takes nerves of steel to be a speedway rider. When the tapes go up, the clutch drops, you have to have split-second response. He has to do everything with perfection. Well, that's it. Speedway racers, one of a kind. There's thousands of motocross riders to one speedway racer. So speedway racers are a rare breed indeed. So thank you so much for watching the Brian B blog about the speedway racers. Very special speed. So when you see a speedway racer, give them lots of respect. So please like, share, subscribe, and ring that bell. Yeah, ring that bell. How you doing? And that was one of my blogs about speedway racers. And they're a very rare breed of people. And we have another speedway racer. He was racing at the Best Pairs just the other night, yesterday. And he is Chris Firecracker. This guy is good, Chris Kerr. This guy is bad dude. He's a good rider. And he's just a really good guy, Chris Kerr. He's from Northern California, and he's been riding a long time. I mean, this guy was riding like a long time, and he was a British League rider. Chris Kerr is really a great rider. I mean, that guy he's fast. I think he beat like Brock and Luke yesterday, the winners of the Best Pairs in his heat race. And so that was fantastic. And here he is with Blake Borello. Blake is a promising young rider, and Chris hopefully is tutoring him. because Chris is just a really great rider, and he just knows how to ride a speedway bike. Look at this guy, Chris Firecracker. They call him Firecracker because Chris is a firecracker. Chris is good. That guy's fast. We're going to have him on the show on Wednesday night. And he was a British League rider. And the guy can really ride a bike. This kid is good. And he was actually on a baseball card. I mean, if you're on a baseball card, you're up there with like Jack Milne and Cordy Milne and all these great riders. Here's Chris Kerr on a firecracker baseball card. Yeah, I don't know if it was a firecracker card, but it was a card. And Chris is just a really great rider. I mean, Chris has been a good rider for a long time. When I was riding Speedway, Chris was a star before he went to England. And he came out of retirement and just rode, and he just was burning up the track. I mean, this guy is talent. Doesn't stop, Firecracker. And he was racing just last night and blew away the winners, which was Luke Becker and Brock Nickel. So Firecracker is a firecracker, and he's going to be on the show on Wednesday night. And this guy is just a good guy. Chris Kerr, a really great guy. I went ahead and asked Chris, how long are you going to be riding Speedway? And he said, I don't know. I don't know. So that was good. So hopefully we're going to have Costa Mesa Speedway come back, and we're going to have those gorgeous girls coming to the races. We want those girls coming back and watching us Speedway riders and cheering for their favorite riders. We like those ladies coming back to Speedway, and we like the guys coming back too, and we like the races starting up. So hopefully we can get some races going on this year. And we got some more riders coming to the Hive. We have a very amazing, talented, unbelievable rider. He raced for Ipswich in the British League. And it's Siggy Part 2, Dennis Sigalos. He's coming to the Hive this Saturday. Dennis Sigalos, this guy is one of the greatest Speedway riders of all time. He is good, Dennis Sigalos. We call him Siggy. And Dennis went ahead and he had one of the most amazing pictures of all time. Lots of people say that this is the picture of forever the best Speedway picture, and that's of Dennis Sigalos popping that wheelie in the middle of the turn. Look at that guy. He's fully crossed up, doing a full bore wheelie. Look at the balance of Dennis Sigalos. If you don't think Dennis Sigalos can ride a bike, look at this picture. Dennis Sigalos is just an amazing, crazy talent. He could ride a bike. And Dennis is a good guy. He went ahead and he was practicing with Bruce the Fox Penhall when he was a young kid. And he went over to England, and he won that Best Pairs, the World's Championship, Best Pairs Championship. I mean, Dennis Sigalos really is a champion. And we're going to have Dennis. Here he was with the whole Vikings, and with Sean Moran, then the little guy, Sean Moran. And Siggy is the taller guy with lighter blue leathers with a baseball hat. And he just was really a good. Siggy went to the British League, and he just did really well. And we're going to have him this Saturday at 11 a.m. at California time. So you'll want to stay tuned. And if you want to be notified, you have to subscribe, ring that bell, and then you're going to be notified of that show coming up Saturday, 11 a.m. California time. Siggy! And here's Siggy again when he was riding for the whole Vikings. And he went to the Ipswich. He was a fun-loving guy, Siggy. He has some pretty good pictures here. He was a great rider. And Siggy was just a really talented rider. I mean, this guy could ride. Unfortunately, injuries plagued him towards his end of the career. Bruce Penhall told me, on one of the shows, that if Siggy didn't get injured, he would have won multiple world championships. I mean, this guy was just unbelievable. and Siggy's a good guy. We had a show with him right before Christmas in 2020, and Siggy just was a great guy. He was a fun interview. And many people say that Siggy was one of the best interviews that we had on the show. And I wouldn't doubt that one bit, because he just is a cool guy and he has a world of experience. We're going to talk about some fun things. Siggy got mad a few times, and we're going to talk about some of the. And also, I raced with Siggy when I was like, we're running D3. And I have some video that I'm going to show you of me and Siggy racing together in D3. Our first race when we were in Costa Mesa, California, before he became famous. But I have some video. Siggy really wants to see this, so we're going to go ahead and play that when Siggy comes here on the show. So a lot of you wonder, like, what is a speedway bike? And a lot of people don't know what a speedway bike is. And a lot of I had Larry Huffman on the show recently. We've had all these great guys on the show. And Larry went ahead and told me, like, you need to tell people, like, what is a speedway bike and what is the speedway races, which is great. You know, like, sometimes a lot of people don't know. There might be somebody watching this show doesn't know that much about speedway. So let's talk about it. What is speedway? Do you know what is speedway?
Today's party, the 13th, Costa Mesa Speedway started on June 13th, Friday the 13th, 1969, and has been racing ever since. There's Costa Mesa Speedway. Do the math. You are about to see are professionals. These are 500cc single-cylinder motorcycles burning up methanol or alcohol for fuel.
All right, that's Speedway at the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds. We missed the Speedway at the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds. That was truly really cool. And we're going to go ahead and we have a really cool guest that's going to be on the show. And we just are waiting for him to announce his time when he's going to come. Probably like Thursday or Friday of next week. And it's this guy here. He's going to join us in the Hive. And it's Sliding Sonny Nutter. Do you know Sliding Sonny Nutter? He was cool. Sliding Sonny Nutter was a sliding machine. This guy could ride. Sonny was actually like the team captain when they had the first Speedway coming back in 1968, 1969. Sonny Nutter was the Team USA captain, the first team captain of Sonny Nutter was like the boss. I mean, this guy was cool. And he was like no nonsense because if you messed around with Sonny Nutter, he was going to get you. He was a tough guy. And he was just a sliding guy. Here he is sliding. They call him Sliding because he liked to slide on the Speedway bike. And he was good. Sonny was kind of one of those guys. He was like the boss. He was the dominant guy. And we're going to talk about some really fun stories of Sonny Nutter. It's going to be a fun show. I actually contacted him on Facebook. And he said, contact me. Let's go ahead and talk about it. So Sonny Nutter made my day because this guy is a true living legend. And he was the first glamour boy of Speedway. He was the handsome guy. He was the very first glamour boy of the Speedway racing. He was really a handsome guy. All the girls like, who? Sliding Sonny Nutter. He was good. Sonny Nutter was a glamour boy. And he just was an incredibly great rider, too. He was just as good a rider as he was good looking. And we're going to have Sonny on the show. Sonny is actually a big part of the United States Speedway history. Why? Because he was there in 1968 at the Whiteman Stadium when they began the revival of the modern day Speedway. This is really cool. And we're going to talk to Sliding Sonny Nutter about that experience at the Whiteman Stadium in 1968. This is history. And we're going to record some of this history. So when Sliding Sonny Nutter said he was going to come on the show and talk Speedway, it was like my day was made because here we have one of the original Speedway stars, Sliding Sonny Nutter. This guy was good, and he was just talented rider. This guy could ride a bike. This was the event that we're going to talk about. This was Sonny Nutter riding on that Triumph leathers. He had his arms crossed on the left-hand side of the screen there, and he was talking to Ivan Major. Ivan the Great. Ivan Major won 6 world championships. Ivan Major was just an incredible rider. He was voted the greatest Speedway rider ever. Out of all the riders in the world, that gentleman on the right, Ivan Major, is considered the very best Speedway rider of all time. And Sliding Sonny Nutter had his arms crossed because he didn't know this guy. They actually were riding the TT track, and Ivan Major came in and they said, Ivan's going to teach you guys how to ride Speedway. And Sliding Sonny Nutter crossing his arms going, oh, yeah, you think you're going to teach us TT riders how to ride Speedway? And Ivan Major was on an old JP. He was unhappy. And he actually threw a few parts on, like handlebars and seats and stuff. And then Ivan Major went out and did some hot laps at the Whiteman Stadium in 1968. And he had that throttle wide effing open. And the Sonny Nutter, he quit crossing his arms when he watched Ivan the Major blow him away. And so that we're going to talk about that. That was pretty neat, that situation with Ivan Major at the Whiteman Stadium. That's a part of history. And actually, Ivan Major taught the riders how to ride Speedway the proper way by getting up on towards the handlebars, over the handlebars, and quit sitting your butt on the seats like they did before. So this is going to be a great show with Sonny Nutter. Can't wait for that one. And here he is in 1978 with maybe 76 with the team racing. He raced for the Ventura Sharks in Ventura, California. And he actually helped introduce Boogaloo Bobby Schwartz to the Speedway. And inside the pole was the pole rider, Boogaloo Schwartz, who was an amazing rider, like won world championships. And then Sonny Nutter's on the outside, the guy further from you. And he was just a really good rider, sliding Sonny Nutter. And so we're going to talk about maybe the team racing too. We're going to see how, a little bit about like how that all went down when Sonny Nutter raced the team. So we're going to talk about, he raced in multiple United States Speedway Championships. Here he was in the 1975 United States Speedway Championship at the LA Coliseum. And that's where Mike Bass won, and Dangerous Dub Farrell was second, and Stevie Nutter was third place. And he was actually in that race at the Coliseum. It was a big stadium with like 100,000 seats. And it was really great racing that night. So we have a really good show lined up for this week. And we have all these guys. So tonight, California time, we have Aaron Fox, the two-time United States Speedway champion. And then the following night, on Tuesday night, we have Chris Eckerman, the announcer, the voice of Paris Speedway. He's a great guy. He's just really cool. Anytime I have an announcer on the show, it's a lot of fun. And we're going to do a tribute to the fallen announcer, Bruce Flanders. He was just an amazing announcer. Bruce Flanders was the bomb, and he had passed away this past year. So we're going to go ahead and wear our Hawaiian t-shirts like Bruce Flanders did in tribute to Bruce Flanders. So we're going to have a lot of fun on Tuesday night with Chris Eckerman. And the following night, Chris Firecracker. Chris Kerr was racing just like last night at the Paris Speedway. And he was beating the champions, Luke Becker and Brock Nickel, in that one heat. And they did really well. So Firecracker is a firecracker. And we're going to talk about his racing, where he's going to go. I mean, this guy's been to Europe. He's raced in the British League. He's a quality rider. And he's been a quality rider for since he came into Speedway. I remember Chris Firecracker when he came in. He was just a great rider. I mean, Chris could really ride a Speedway bike. And that's why they call him the Firecracker. I like that name. Chris Firecracker Kerr. Firecracker Kerr. He's a great rider. And we really look forward to talking with Chris. He's an outstanding rider. The guy just has talent that never ends. Chris is really good. So we're looking forward to having this talented modern-day Speedway rider. He came out of semi-retirement, and he's racing again in Speedway. Let's talk to Chris and find out what his plans are with Speedway. And then we have Dennis Sigalos this Saturday at 11 a.m. on California time. Dennis Sigalos, they call him Siggy. Siggy! Siggy was good. That guy, Siggy and I, we start off at the same time. We start off in D3, the beginners, and Siggy was no beginner. This guy was good. And so we're going to talk. I have a video from our first race we're going to play with Siggy on the screen here. And Siggy, I talked to Siggy, and Siggy goes, "You have that video?" And I go, "Yeah, I have that, Siggy." And he goes, "Oh, could I see it?" And I go, "Yeah, next time you come on the show, we're going to play you and I racing our first race in Division 3 at the Costa Mesa Fairgrounds at the Speedway." And Siggy was a D1 rider, and I was a D4 rider. Siggy blew by me. Wow! Siggy was good, and Siggy turned out to be a world-class rider, just a crazy good rider. And he was just on the Team USA, and He won Best Pairs Championship, World Team Cup Championship. Siggy won a lot. I mean, this guy is a champion. So we're going to have a real treat, you guys, this next Saturday, California time at 11 a.m. We're going to do whatever we can to accommodate Siggy. And we're going to start that show at 11 o'clock. That is California time. So you might want to stay tuned. It's going to be just one unbelievable show. And we're waiting to see exactly what Sonny Nutter wants to do. And I talked with Sonny just a couple days ago, and Sonny wants to come on the show, but we have to do a confirmation of the show. And maybe we have Thursday or Friday of next week that maybe we can try to fit Sonny Nutter on the show. We're pretty much booked up Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Saturday. And so maybe we can get him Thursday or Friday in the Hive for a really cool show. Like I said, when Sonny Nutter, when he agreed to do the show, I was like, woohoo, Sonny Nutter. I mean, this guy was a legend. I mean, he was just one of the most incredible legends of the day. And we can find out some more early history of Speedway. Sonny Nutter has volumes of history, and this guy is like an encyclopedia of Speedway in 1968, 1969, and the early 70s. So Sonny Nutter is going to be just really a great interview. You won't want to miss that when he comes. And if you haven't subscribed to the Bumblebee channel, you might want to try that and then ring the notification bell, because we're not sure when Sonny's coming on. And if you do that, or if you've already done that, thank you very much, then you'll be notified when Sliding Sonny Nutter comes on, and you won't have to worry about it because you'll get an email. And I'm telling you, you're not going to want to miss Siggy. You're not going to want to miss Sonny Nutter. And we got Aaron Fox tonight, California time, 6 p.m. I mean, it's going to be a great week of Speedway. And so we've got all these other riders coming up that want to be on the show. So we've got some fun stuff. We do lots of fun blogs daily. I do live streams. We just did Michael Bass. We did the Moran brothers. And we did another rider. Who was that? We did one more rider. And so we do riders all the time. And, we did Scott Autry. Brian Autry. And Scott was just a crazy good rider. And we've had Bruce Penhall in the Hive. He's coming back for part 2. Bruce, the Fox Penhall. He was good. Bruce Penhall is like a 2-time U.S. champion in 81, 82. And he was a 2-time world champion. Actually, I guess his United States champion was like 80 and 81. And then his world championship was 81 and 82. I kind of got that a little screwball. But Bruce Penhall was an amazing rider. I mean, that guy was the best rider of his day. He won everything. So we're going to talk to one of the most incredible champions of our day. And we're going to have a lot of fun with Bruce Penhall in the Hive. And we just had some really great interviews. We had Rhett and Todd. We had Larry Huffman. We had Greg Hazerat, an early day Speedway rider, talking about early day Speedway of 1968. That's fun when you can kind of record some of this history, because maybe when these guys pass on, we're not going to lose a lot of this history. So what we want to do in the show, especially, we want to preserve the history of Speedway. It's very important. And when we interview these guys like Sliding Sonny Nutter, Greg Hazerat, we have Lightning Larry Shaw maybe coming on in a couple weeks. I talked to Larry Shaw today, and Lightning Larry Shaw said, I'm very busy, but maybe in a couple weeks we can get on your show. So we're really looking forward to number 5, Lightning Larry Shaw. And then it was Brad Oxley, number 5. And then it was Max Romo, number 5. Number 5 has had some really good riders. Lightning Larry Shaw, Brad Oxley, and Mad Max Romo. So we had fun. And Mad Max wants to come back for part 2. We had Max on before, and he wants to come back for another show. So we're going to get Max on, and we have so many riders that want to come on. I mean, we have Reese Todd wants to come on. We've got just incredible amount of riders. We had Eddie Castro on, Fast Eddie. We had Terry Ike Clanton. Like I say, we had Larry Huffman. He was cool. And we got so many riders. Buck Blair has made his return to Speedway, and he did really good like last night at the Paris Best Pairs. And we're going to have Buck Blair. He was one of my riders in like 2006. And we're going to talk with Battling Buck Blair. He was actually called the Stinger back in the day. So we're going to talk with him. And we have just a whole host of riders we're going to talk about. So you don't want to miss some of these interviews. And I'm going to do some really fun blogs and stuff like that. So it's going to be really fun here in the Hive. So you won't want to miss that. So that's coming up. And we're just giving you an update. And maybe we'll do a show on the Best Pairs Championship last night at Paris. Maybe we'll do a recap show of that. It's going to be fun. But tonight we've got Aaron Fox, the two-time United States Speedway champion. This guy is good, and he was racing last night at the Paris Speedway. So he was currently riding just a few hours ago, and he's a really good rider. And he's just an incredibly good human being. Former Speedway rider of the British League. This guy has a good credential. He's sponsored by like a Kia car dealership. I want to talk about that. He's sponsored by a car dealership or something. And we're going to find out what's going on with that sponsorship and what's going on with Aaron Fox, because he's just a great rider. So that's tonight, California time, 6 p.m. Be there. So we're looking forward to it. And so we're going to have some really great shows. And we have so many more people lined up, and we're excited. And we'll get Bruce Penhall here another week or two. We had Bruce on just a week or two ago, so we're going to give Bruce a little break, right? And then bring him on, and we're going to talk some fun stuff. Bruce has some really interesting things. We're not going to talk about Kenny Carter, though. We're going to skip that one. But we're going to talk about White City when they won the World Team Cup, and maybe the boat racing, because he was like a four-time world champion as a boat racer with Dennis Sigalos. Maybe we'll get Dennis and Bruce together, and we'll talk about that boat racing. They were the only guys, Bruce Penhall and Dennis Sigalos, to win championships in boat racing and in speedway, and two sports that aren't really like each other, because boats and motorcycles are not really the same. Boats have no wheels, and motorcycles have two wheels. They're a lot different. So we're going to talk a lot about that, and we're going to find out more about exactly what's going on. And we're going to end this program, if you missed it, with a little show dedicated to the racers. When you win, nothing hurts. And when you lose, you die alone. Every speedway rider has one purpose in mind, one thing they want to accomplish. And what is that? They want to win. The tapes go up, the clutch drops. You have to have split-second response time. Speedway riders are tough as nails. They endure terrible crashes. It's the go for it attitude. They go for it, and sometimes things don't work out. And the speedway rider only has a few seconds to make the race good. He has to do everything with perfection. When you win, nothing hurts. But when you lose, you die alone. And every muscle must be torn. So that's it. Speedway. We want to win, win, win. And we're going to talk more about Speedway and Speedway riders. It's really a cool sport. It's really one of my favorite sports of all time. I started riding when I was just a teenager, just a young high school teenager. I was a pro at 16, and it was really cool. And got to race with Dennis Sigalos and many good guys, Bruce Penhall and, Alan Crazy Christian. all the good riders, and they were good. So we're going to talk to them, and we're going to have some good shows. So thank you so much for watching the Beehive today, the show. And don't forget to tune in tonight at 6 p.m. That's California time. And in the Philippines, that's tomorrow morning, like 10 a.m. So tune in tonight in California, tomorrow morning in the Philippines. And we're going to have a two-time United States Speedway champion, Aaron Fox, on the show. So thank you so much for hanging out with us in the Hive. We're just like recapping what's going to happen, talking a little Speedway. Some of you don't even know what Speedway. I have a lot of people that come up to me and say, you blog the Speedway, and what is that? So we're trying to like talk to our friends here and introduce them to the sport. Speedway is really a fun sport, and it's fast, exciting, dangerous, and it's victorious and happy too. It's one of those sports that it's really great, and it has wonderful highs, and then it has terrible lows when you crash. You can really wreck your life in Speedway because it's fast, it's dangerous, and it's fun. It goes 0 to like 85 with no brakes, and you just drop the clutch, you have it geared, and you just go. And it's fast. You have 5 guys going into the same turn at the same time. I talked to Brad Oxley about that, and I said, Brad, there's a lot of crashes in Speedway, and that's part of the game, right? And then he said, Brad Oxley told me, he said, Brian, when you have 5 guys going into the turn at the same time, there's only one spot, and then you have 5 guys going for that one spot. And guess what you're going to have? You're going to have contact, and you're going to have some crashes once in a while. So Speedway is really kind of a wild sport. It's fun, it's beautiful, and it has a really downside too when you crash or you get injured. So Speedway is a glamorous sport, and it's a tragic sport, and it's really fun, especially if you don't crash. When you crash, you can get hurt. But in 2 wheels, it's easy to crash. Every Speedway rider, including me, everyone crashes on a Speedway bike. If you don't crash, you're probably not a Speedway rider. So that's kind of how it works in Speedway. It's a really great sport. And we're going to introduce a lot of people to the sport of Speedway. A lot of people, like I mentioned, don't really know what Speedway is. And they say, you're like a Speedway guy. Like, what is Speedway? And I said, I will tell you. So we're going to talk and educate during the shows, and we're going to talk more about Speedway. What is Speedway? How Speedway works? A lot of you know already what Speedway is, so we won't have to really educate you. But you can go ahead and come along for the ride. A lot of my friends, like I say, they don't know what the sport is. They just say, you're like a motorcycle rider, a Speedway rider. And I'm like, yeah, we will teach you what Speedway is. It's really one of the neatest motorsports around, and it's just really exciting. And we're going to go ahead and do some really great shows, introduce a lot of people to the sport of Speedway, and kind of educate people and tell them exactly what's going on. When I had Larry Huffman on the show, Larry was like, could you please explain what Division 2 is? Could you please explain what Division 1 is? Because there's a lot of terms that a lot of people do not know, what they are. So we're going to talk about that and talk more about Speedway and all the things like that. So we're going to have some really fun shows, and we're going to just enjoy the heck out of it. But join us tonight, 6 p.m. for Aaron Fox in the Hive. Aaron Fox was just a crazy good rider, and we're going to look forward to hanging out with the Fox in the Hive. So thank you so much for joining the live stream today. We're just hanging out, and we're just having fun today. We're just enjoying the show, and we want to thank you so much on YouTube and Facebook. We have quite a few of you on Facebook, and we want to go ahead and thank you. And we replay on YouTube. Lots of people watch the replays. So we're going to go ahead and have a good time, and you're not going to want to miss this week. We have an all-star lineup almost every night this week. That's going to be 6 p.m. California time and 10 a.m. in the Philippines, if you want to go ahead and check that out. So it's going to be really great, the shows that are coming up here. in the hive. So thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you tonight, California time, and we're going to have a really great show with Aaron Fox. So stay on two wheels, be safe, everyone, and take care. And we're going to see you next race. God bless.